Hey everyone, I'm Christina and it's time for truth. Thanks for stopping by. So, checking in to talk a little bit about, that thing in Tucson with Mrs. Guthrie being missing. Um, that's brought up some things for me with my mom, which was one of the topics I was going to talk about anyway, is some family dysfunction, like my video yesterday. Talked about, family dysfunction. And one of the things that happened was dysfunction with my mom, within the family. And she actually lived in Tucson. This little t-shirt is, from my mom's days in Tucson. She lived there when she was divorcing my father. She had left Germany. My family had bought a house in Tucson so that my younger brother and sister could go to college. And it was just a whole thing for her. She loved it in Tucson. And it makes me so sad to think that, this elderly woman, 84 years old, Nancy, that she's gone missing, like from her own home. That's very disturbing. I know when I was in Tucson in the 90s, all the places, everybody had to keep a watch because there was crime back then too, but it's different now. So I hope that she is found safely. I know for my mom, by the time that she left Tucson, she'd made friends. She moved back to Salisbury, Maryland, so she could finish up her divorce from my father because he was making it as difficult as possible. She was doing really good though. She was using the degree that she got from business school in Tucson, to work at that time for junior achievement in Salisbury, Maryland. She was a business lady. She loved it. She really did enjoy that job. And then she ended up moving up to Pennsylvania through a connection that she had made with the friend in Tucson, of all things. But for me, my mom actually went missing from her memory care unit. So I kind of feel like I know that feeling of like, wait, what? What do you mean she's not there? Like, what happened? Why? How did this happen? For Savannah and her family, it sounds like it's a crime scene, which is horrifying. For my mom, it was that somebody changed the power of attorney while my mom was in a dementia unit, and she'd come out of a couple of hospitals recently, hospitalizations, where her cognitive function was below the line. Like you don't really know whether it's dementia or Alzheimer's until there's like some unknown line that you cross. But I knew that my mom wasn't well, and that's why she was in where she was in. But I was involved with the police chief too, and sometimes there's a feeling with these policing agencies, they don't want to get involved. The difference with the Tucson Police Department, from every report that I've seen, is that, there's really been an outpouring of concern about what has happened to Mrs. Guthrie. So I hope she's found safe. And I send a lot of peace and healing to her family during this time of unknown. For me, with my mom actually called me. Like, I knew that she was no longer at the facility, and then I got a phone call from a phone number in Utah. And my mom's like, where am I? Who are these people? It was so sad. Like, I don't even know what to say about it all. Heartbreaking. That's what it was. Because my mom ended up being with those who she never ever wanted caring for her. Like, she had disinherited these people in her will. The power of attorney, in my opinion, was fraudulent. That another estranged family member got in Maryland, and then the other person comes in from Utah and then goes to Utah and gets another one. Like, what is that? Musical powers of attorney? No. And my mother would have never allowed her estranged offspring to be her caregivers. Never. So the comparison of what's happened with the situation in Tucson, you know, is only limited to the fact that my mom was, you know, living in Tucson at one time, has great memories of her time in Tucson. So I can understand why, you know, the family felt that their loved one was safe there. I don't know. It's just very sad and it's very disturbing. But my mom ended up taken from a care home, a lockdown memory care unit, a secure memory care unit. She was taken from there and then put on a flight to Utah and then, you know, reassessed by people who had no clue who my mother was. And my mother had no clue who these people were. It was crazy times. And then she called me. And that was the only way that I learned where she was. So then it got worse from there. But I'll talk about that at another time because I can only take so much of it. And I hope that Nancy, you know, Mrs. Guthrie is found safe and sound and soon. You know, apparently she needs medication. Like, it's a very terrible situation, very disturbing. But, you know, I try to remember the good times with my mom, and I know that that's a part of what they will be doing too is, you know, let's think about the good times, you know, let's pray, let's hope for the best. And, you know, like here's one of the pictures of my mom and I, you know, and we have to watch out for the elders, you know. Here's she and I having a good laugh. And I'll show some more pictures in my next episode when I talk about, you know, how estranged family interfered and caused a lot of harm. And it really hasn't been held to full account. So, but I'm not going to drone on with that. I'm going to send out my best wishes to the Guthrie family that Nancy is found safe and, you know, that there's peace and healing in whatever way it goes, but that she is found soon and in good health. So thank you for stopping in to listen to my little chats on my YouTube channel, Time for Truth. I'm really enjoying it. I'm getting back into the swing of things, printing out pictures, you know, making some little extra things that I can do. But I know one of the things that my mom, you know, when I was in Scottsdale, this was one of the, you know, kind of Native American, you know, beautiful art that you can get in Tucson. And Scottsdale and Flagstaff and Phoenix. I mean, all of Arizona is amazing. I've always loved visiting there. And it's very sad to know that one of our vulnerable elders has been taken from her home. So I hope she's found soon and in good health. Thanks again for stopping by. Wishing you all good health and much happiness. Take care. Bye.